No one realizes what the Baltimore Ravens just did, but the league is about to find out. By signing their last remaining draft pick in Mike Green yesterday, the Ravens now have the green light.
Give me the green light.
To move forward with their goal of the pursuit of their next Super Bowl. See what I did there? Green light, Mike Green. Corny, I know. But it is what it is. They now have the pieces in place to go where they have not gone since 2012. I know you can hear the excitement in my voice. I truly believe that the Baltimore Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl this season. This is the year that they finally get it done. I don't come in here every year as somebody with purple shades on talking about my team's the best. They're going to win. They're going to win. No, I'm strategic in when I make these predictions. When I see that the Ravens have something going, this is when I really vocalize that I think that this team can make it and do the impossible. Go out there and knock off those Kansas City Chiefs and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And I know there's going to be some skepticism outside of the Baltimore Ravens fan base, but listen, I am here to give receipts. I'm here to give reasons as to why I believe that this team is going to go further than it has during Lamar Jackson's tenure. If you take anything at all from the 2024 season, remember this. First half of the season, the Baltimore Ravens defense stunk up the joint. They were the worst pass defense in the league. The Baltimore Ravens only won because of their offense. They started in an 0-2 hole, and they dug themselves out because Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry were just that amazing. But then the Ravens decided to go in a different direction. They inserted Darius Washington into the starting lineup because Marcus Williams and Eddie Jackson just stunk up the joint. They were not doing their jobs. They just let completions go over their head, and they did not provide any value to this team. As a Ravens fan, you could tell something was wrong in that building and that a change was needed. But along with Darius Washington being inserted into that starting lineup, there was another change that pretty much got overlooked because once Darius came in, we thought to ourselves, all right, they're making a change. They're starting to get turnovers. The pass defense is looking a lot better. But something that a lot of people didn't pay attention to, some did, is the fact that Brandon Stevens, good riddance to bad rubbish, his usage was lessened. And Nate Wiggins' usage went up. And these two little tweaks helped the Baltimore Ravens from week 11 on be one of the best defenses in the league. And yes, statistically, they didn't end the season that much better. They ended 31st in pass defense, but the defense looked a lot better. They were a lot sharper. They came up clutch in situational football. So rankings aside, anyone could tell that the Baltimore Ravens defense was in an upward trajectory. They did, although, end the season with a top 10 defense in points against and yardage against, ranking 10th and 9th respectively. But one of the biggest problems with this defense was it did not create turnover. And that has been a problem for some time here and there. The Ravens did lead the league in turnovers of 31 in 2023, but in 2024, they regressed and only had 17 with 12 interceptions and 5 fumble recoveries. And this is something that the Ravens need to improve on, especially in the playoffs. They cannot go out here and expect Lamar Jackson and the offense to do the things that they were doing during the regular season, during the playoffs. Things turn up. Teams get better. Teams prepare specifically for that one team and not a season's worth of games. It's win and move on or else. So things are a lot tougher, and the Ravens defense needs to step up in the turnover department. Even though in the points per game category, they hold some of the best quarterbacks in the AFC to well below their averages. They just need to get that ball back to get that offense 1 or 2 extra possessions to win the game. So then in comes the additions of Malachi Starks and Mike Green. This should help the Ravens twofold. Mike Green can get pressure on the quarterbacks, giving them limited time to throw, making bad decisions, or just strip sacking the ball, getting forced fumbles. Someone said today in a video that he reminds them of a younger Terrell Suggs. I don't know if I'm going to give him that, but he could become someone of that vein. Then you have Malachi Starks, who is a ball hawk. Also, he and Kyle Hamilton are interchangeable, so you can let Kyle Hamilton roam all over the field and not have to play that deep safety position. And not a lot gets lost in translation. So these two key additions, these two draft picks are going to help the Ravens become a better defense than they were at the tail end of the 2024 season. Then you add the additions of Jair Alexander, who is a definite upgrade from Brandon Stevens. Nate Wiggins is in his second year, so he's going to have some experience under his belt. And if anything goes wrong, you have Awuzie coming off the bench. And one of the other key, most important things to me that is being overlooked is Zach Orr is in his second year as the defensive coordinator. Last year was his first time as a defensive coordinator at any level. So he was a relative rookie, a native to that position. The Ravens brought in Dean Swiss Pease to help him, and they also brought back Chuck Pagano to give him a hand. Now, if we recall, the same thing happened with Mike McDonald. In his first season, he struggled. The Ravens just could not hold leads in the second half of games. And then in their second year in his system, they became the best defense in the league. And this is something that I expect from the Ravens to do this season. With all the talent that they've acquired, with the upgrades at certain positions, I expect the Ravens to be one of the top 2 defenses in the league. Tavius Robinson has taken his next step. Odafe Oye in a contract year should ball out. Kyle Van Noy should offer some stability at this position. And if the Ravens can get anything out of Adisa Isaac or David Ajabo, that is a plus. But I think that Mike Green is going to be the key component in helping this defense get over the top. So Zach Orr has a lot of toys to play with. He has a lot of tinkering that he can do with this lineup to disguise coverages and to confuse these offenses. And the improvement for the Baltimore Ravens on defense is only half of the equation. Now we go over to the offense. An offense in 2024 that was third in points scored, first in yardage. Lamar's second year in Todd Monken's system. He has another year under his belt. He said that the game is slowing down for him. Derrick Henry still seems to be at the peak of his powers. Zay Flowers is coming into his own. Rashad Bateman stayed healthy and balled out. And I think that Isaiah likely is going to get a more prominent role in this offense. So you take all of this collection of talent, you take all these guys that were already number 1 in the league, and you give them another year together. And another year in the same system means that they can open the playbook even more and do more things to confuse these defenses. And Lamar just seems to get better and better each and every year. This was one of the historically great offenses in the NFL. Lamar Jackson himself broke many, many records in the NFL. And as a whole, this Ravens offense became the first team in NFL history, 100 years of the league's existence, to be the first team, regular season and playoff, to have 4,000 yards passing and over 3,000 yards rushing. No team in the NFL history has ever done that. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the 49ers, the greatest shows on turf, the Minnesota Vikings historic offense. None of them, the Peyton Manning-led Colts or Broncos, nobody held that standard. But the Baltimore Ravens did that last season. And I know everybody's going to wait for them to fall off, but I don't think it's going to happen. They said that they had Lamar figured out years ago, but guess what? The league has not figured him out. He is a generational one-of-one type talent who wants to win, who puts the time in, who his teammates want to win for. Then you subtract the Nelson Aguilar with his 231 yards receiving, and I get it, he was the third wide receiver, but we've seen some teams have 3 wide receivers go over 1,000 yards each. He couldn't even get 500. Now we replace him with a DeAndre Hopkins, a future Hall of Famer, a mentor, somebody that may not be the DeAndre Hopkins of old, but he still has a lot left in the tank. So now you have a number 3 wide receiver who would be a number 2 on many teams. So a team that was already number 1 in yardage has gotten even better. If the Ravens can lock down this offensive line and get that straight, there is no stopping this team. So if you ask me, you say, Hendo, do you honestly believe in your heart of hearts, outside of being a Baltimore Ravens fan, do you think that this team can win a Super Bowl? And I'm going to tell you, hell yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
For all the reasons that I explained. And while this Ravens roster has gotten better, other teams have gotten worse. The Buffalo Bills have gotten better in certain areas, but I won't say that they dramatically improved their team. Kansas City's offensive line was exposed last season. They got rid of an all-pro. They re-signed one of their guards to a hefty contract, but overall, I don't think that they improved their offensive line. So as the Ravens got better, some teams got worse. Now, the only team that may truly and honestly be standing in this team's way is the Baltimore Ravens. And secondly, the Philadelphia Eagles, because Howie Roseman and what he's doing over there, man knows how to put together a team. I'm a fan of the Ravens, but when you see greatness, when you see somebody doing their thing, you have to acknowledge it. I tip my cap to them, but the Ravens can beat them. Even in the game last season, if it weren't for some miscues here and there, the Ravens could have taken down the Super Bowl champions. So if we can put it all together, if we can limit the mistakes, if everybody can play their best, if the defense can finally cause a turnover during the playoffs while Lamar Jackson is quarterback, who's going to stop us? Outside of him. But Other than that, who's going to stop us? And I think that Lamar is taking the leadership of this team more seriously than he ever has in his career. And I think that even with the shortcomings of other places, I think that Lamar is going to leave his thumbprint on his team. And when it comes down to certain situations, there's no more following the script, following the plan. I think he's going to do his own thing. He's been in the league long enough where he can command his offense the way that he wants. He can Willie beam it for all the fuck I care.
What the hell? What the holy shit? Project, what's he doing?
I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Welcome to the 21st century.
He can get out there and say, fuck that play, scrap this play. This is what we're running. And I believe this is the season he's going to do it because he's tired of going out the playoffs. You can see the frustration in his eyes. And if everybody else on his team raises their level of play like Lamar Jackson has, we are going out a Super Bowl winner in 2025. So if the league by now doesn't realize what the Ravens have done, once again, you soon will.
They're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Believe that.